Washington, we got ourselves a problem. Step into my office. Welcome to Denton's office, your favorite new YouTube show about the Commanders. I don't got a lot. I got two things. I got a microphone. I got a whiteboard. And only very important people have whiteboards. Jayden Daniels isn't practicing on Wednesday. Dan Quinn said that on Wednesday. It is now Thursday. We're one day closer to that matchup that the NFL flexed into a later window with Chicago with the hopes that you would get a Jayden Daniels versus Caleb Williams matchup. That aside, what this means for the Commanders is that one of their big fears is becoming much more of a reality in that Jayden Daniels is not healthy. Now, I'm very confident in the way this organization is handling things. To put it in layman's term, and forgive me for this example, but it is what it is, they're not going to allow Jayden Daniels to Robert Griffin himself. Kind of tacky, maybe, but it is true. Because we now know 10 years after the fact, 12 years after the fact, that Robert really fought to get in games where he had no business being in. And I trust the organization in the way that it is currently built, that they are not going to allow Jayden Daniels to get himself into trouble just for the sake of competition in the first year of this whole thing. If it was a playoff game, I firmly believe that Jayden Daniels is going to play. And I should preface, him not practicing on Wednesday does not mean that he is not going to play this weekend. He does, however, make those chances significantly smaller because the best way to get ready to play football is to practice. Now, he went through all of the other steps that you would normally go through on a Wednesday, which is optimistic, getting a lot of treatment, going to the meetings, watching the film. I'm sure he's doing the whole virtual reality thing like anybody's business. So that does give you and me a little bit of reason to be optimistic. But the fact is, if he's not practicing, the chances go down that he is going to play. This matchup on Sunday didn't feel like it was for Rookie of the Year, but it kind of felt like it was for Rookie of the Year, didn't it? I mean, these awards in the NFL nowadays are very much about storyline. And getting to say that you beat Caleb Williams, the guy that was drafted number 1 overall, the guy that was the large betting favorite to be the Rookie of the Year because he is walking into that situation in Chicago where they are built to win and win now with all of the talent he has, to be able to go and beat that team with the way that Jayden has been playing, that would basically end the conversation as far as I'm concerned. He's already been the better of the two quarterbacks in the first 7 weeks, and then to add the win on top of that, it didn't really matter to me what happened the rest of the way. Now, admittedly, how much do we really care about Rookie of the Year? The answer is not much. There are bigger things at stake here, but it is fun to troll the Bears fans because sidebar here in the Denton's office here, what a miserable fan base that is. I mean, they stink. Insecure, small, low level. I mean, you can pick and choose your adjective to describe them as long as it's negative, and you are correct. Now, I recognize that's not all the Bears fans. I'm sure there's like 95, 97% of fans that aren't terrible, but that vocal minority, they drag them down, man. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I've looked on the old social media machines and just seen these Bears fans ragging on Jayden Daniels because of like this amateur throw that Caleb Williams made. As it, like, Caleb's a great player, by the way. Like, I don't want to have this come off as me demeaning Caleb Williams. He's ours too, right? And maybe that's why they're so upset. Because you look at Jayden Daniels and you say, damn, Washington got a quarterback. And then you look at Caleb Williams and say, damn, he is also from Washington. So, like, there is kind of a claim for those of us that have been around the DMV for a while and saw Caleb Williams in high school to say that's also our guy. I could understand and sympathize why, as a Bears fan, you would be feeling very, very frustrated. You finally felt like you got your guy, and then you get to the party and everybody cares about somebody else. That must not be a good feeling. I would not, personally, advocate for Sean Paytoning Caleb Williams. I mean, Greg Williams is still around here. I'm not asking him for some ideas on how to take Caleb Williams out of the game the way that some of these Bears fans are. That's not how we're doing it around these parts here, but that's a miserable fan base. So it would have felt really good to see Jayden Daniels go out there on Sunday and stomp their face in. But there are bigger things at hand here. There are bigger things at hand. Washington is ahead of the curve in what you could call a rebuild. Or if you want to quote Dan Quinn, they're ahead of the curve in what you would call this recalibration. Even them, I don't think expected to be 5-2 through the first 7 weeks. I distinctly remember doing the schedule release show at a great barbecue joint right off Florida Ave. They were awesome. Sandwiches were amazing. I distinctly remember doing that show, looking at the first 6 games and thinking, oh no, like what did Jayden Daniels do to the scheduling people here? Like why, for this rookie quarterback, is he going through this gauntlet through the first 6 weeks, knowing that it would get a little easier as the season progressed? But you look at those 6 weeks and you're like, I mean, hot damn, like this is going to be tough. And it was tough, but like 4-2. You know, we're hoping like, oh, maybe they're going to be 2-4 through that as long as they're not 0-6, but Jayden outplayed everything. So they're ahead of schedule, which does tie back to this initial worry that I had about him playing this weekend, because they're so ahead of schedule. And because while we don't know a ton about the philosophy of one Adam Peters and how he wants to handle a multi-year plan, it does seem like they have the luxury of saying, we're ahead of schedule. We clearly have our guy. I mean, if you are at the point where we're 6-7 games into the season and you don't think Jayden Daniels is the guy, you're blinder than I am. And these glasses ain't for style, baby. Like, he is very clearly that dude, which leads me to think that he's not going to play on Sunday. And that they're going to go with Marcus Mariota. Do I like Marcus Mariota? He's fine. I don't love him. I don't want to see him play a ton, to be honest. It's not even like a personal thing. He seems like a fine dude. Everybody raves about him over there. But I want to see the quarterback that is the messiah of this organization. I want to see Jayden Daniels. By the way, for the very small vocal minority in this fan base, no, Jayden Daniels should not stop running. This was a very freak thing. But the read option worked. If you remember that Baltimore game, there were a couple of plays where you're looking at it and saying, you know, Jayden pulls the ball, he's running scot-free. The read option works. I don't want to see quarterback power. Pretty done with that. Like, if Cliff Kingsbury wants to take that out of the playbook, you're not getting a complaint from yours truly. I don't want to see none of that QB power. But the read option stuff and Jayden's scrambles, that's what I want to see. He just needs to get better at sliding. But in this instance, it wasn't even a slide. It was getting tripped up and then falling at a weird angle because of, well, maybe it was a slide. But you're not sliding 40-some-odd yards down the field. That's not how that goes. You're going to get tackled at that point. You're either going to the house or you're getting tackled. You're not sliding when everyone is chasing you from behind. It's just that he got tripped up and then all of a sudden falls weird. That kind of, tweaks the rib situation, and we are where we are. By the way, we're praying for Jayden on the very important whiteboard. But he's likely not going to play. I've come to that realization that it's likely going to be Marcus Mariota, which means we get robbed of the potential of Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams. But what do I know? I am very important. You can see on the whiteboard. But I don't know that much. Thanks for stepping into my office. Now get out.